All right. Evening, guys. T Money 35 here with a very serious video. This video is going to be dedicated not only to one driver in particular, but to all those drivers that we've lost over the years who were doing the one thing that they love to do best: race. Today is October 16th, 2012. 1 year ago today, the world of racing lost one of its most iconic superstars. His name was Dan Wheldon. 128 IndyCar starts, a championship, 2 Indy 500 wins, and 5 poles to his credit, was lost on the 11th lap of the 2011 IZOD IndyCar World Championships. To me, October 16, 2011 just started off like any other Sunday for the month of October of that year. I was working a weekend job at the time, so needless to say, I wasn't able to see the telecast live, but I remember having a really rough day that day, and I was not in the talkative mood. But I remember coming home and turning on ESPN when I heard the news of Wheldon's passing, and to me it hit me like a brick wall. In a split second, my bad day wasn't important anymore. And I think that I speak for myself, and not only for myself, but for all racing fans in general, when I say that this death in the world of racing had the biggest impact since Dale Earnhardt's in 2001. When I looked at Dan Wheldon, I saw a driver who had passion, a driver who absolutely loved the sport of IndyCar and was willing to do anything to help it succeed. He hated, and I mean he absolutely hated, not being a regular during the 2011 IndyCar season. And an interesting fact was that on the morning of his death, later on, that it was revealed that Michael Andretti signed Dan Wheldon to a multi-year contract for Andretti Autosport, replacing Danica Patrick to drive the GoDaddy car beginning in 2012. And that ride eventually, as we all know, went to Canadian driver James Hinchcliffe. I eventually did watch the ABC telecast of the race on YouTube, and I admired and respected Marty Reed's, Eddie Cheever's, and Scott Goodyear's professionalism when it came to the situation of Dan's passing. And it still haunts me to this day with what he said, what Dan said to Scott Goodyear during the pace laps when he was the race's in-race reporter. It was a great call by Randy Bernard and IndyCar not to continue with the event. And quite frankly, I don't think anyone wanted to see that race continue after the announcement of Dan's passing. And I certainly will never forget the 5-lap salute that the IndyCar drivers made in Dan's honor. It's a moving sight that still stands in the back of my mind to this day. It was a smart move for IndyCar not to return to Las Vegas Motor Speedway in 2012, and hopefully they will never return to that track, or any track of that size and length for that matter. Jimmy Johnson made a tweet after Dan Wheldon's passing saying that he doesn't think that IndyCar should continue to race on oval courses with the exception of the Indy 500. Well, I disagree with that extent. I think that IndyCar does produce exciting racing on ovals, but I don't think that they should go back to tracks like Las Vegas that are mainly designed for stock cars. Like if it was like a place like Fontana or a Michigan for that matter, that's one thing. But a Las Vegas, a track like Las Vegas, Richmond, and Kentucky, just to name a few, shouldn't even be considered to be brought in as part of the schedule for any type of open wheel racing. Any. I don't care who you are, it's dangerous and it shouldn't even be considered. But in closing, I just wanted to say that you can think of many drivers who can define the world of racing. Some can define your generation. And then there are some who can define your entire racing league. Dan Wheldon was just that for the IZOD IndyCar series. Danny boy, we love you so. Till we meet again.